Brandon Swanson, a 19-year-old from a small town called Marshall, Minnesota, mysteriously vanished on May 14, 2008. On the night of his disappearance, he was celebrating spring break with some fellow students from the Minnesota West Community and Technical College. Although Brandon had consumed a small number of drinks that night, his friends told the police that he didn't appear to be visibly intoxicated. Just before midnight, Brandon departed the party in a nearby town named Canby and started the 30-mile journey to his home in Marshall. Just before 2 a.m., he called his parents, stating that he had driven his car into a ditch and was unable to move it. However, he reassured them that he was uninjured and asked them to come pick him up at the location of the crash. Both of Brandon's parents headed to the presumed location where they believed he was stranded, all the while staying on the phone with Brandon. Remaining with his immobile car, Brandon attempted to signal them by intermittently flashing his lights on and off. Despite their efforts, neither party was able to spot the signals from the other. After a while of both parties unsuccessfully trying to find each other, Brandon told his parents that he was leaving the car to walk towards some distant lights, indicating he might be close to Lind, a small town about 7 miles southwest of Marshall. He told his father to drive toward a local bar in Lind, and that he would meet him there. Brandon began walking, all the while remaining on the phone with his parents until 47 minutes into the phone call, when Brandon suddenly said, "Oh shit." The call concluded without Brandon saying another word, and despite numerous attempts by his parents to reach out to him afterward, Brandon has not been seen or heard from since. His parents reported him missing at 6:30 a.m. to the Lind police. At first, the police told them that it wasn't unusual for a teenager to stay out all night after partying with friends. Brandon's mother also recalls one of the officers telling her that it was Brandon's right to be missing. Later that morning, the Lind police initiated a search, but found no signs of Brandon within the town or its surroundings. Seeking additional assistance, they reached out to Lyon County Sheriff Joel Dahl's office. To streamline the search efforts, the sheriff's office acquired Brandon's cell phone records, revealing that his calls originated from the vicinity of Taunton, along State Highway 68. This location, situated along the main route to Canby, was approximately 25 miles northwest of Marshall, significantly distant from Lind, the town he thought he was walking to. After conducting a search in the specified region, deputies located Brandon's deserted vehicle in a ditch adjacent to a gravel road along the Lincoln County line, approximately 1 mile north of Highway 68. The vehicle displayed no apparent signs of disturbance, and the lack of tracks in the grass and gravel surrounding the area made it impossible to discern the direction Brandon might have taken on foot. In addition to ground searches, an aerial team conducted a flyover, and search dogs were enlisted for assistance. A group of bloodhounds detected a scent trail spanning 3 miles, primarily tracing the field roads in a west-northwest direction to an abandoned farm. From there, the trail continued along the Yellow Medicine River, eventually leading to a point where it seemed to intersect with the stream. Brandon's father recalled that Brandon had spoken about passing fences and hearing water nearby. Considering the possibility that Brandon might have drowned, boats from the state's Department of Natural Resources were dispatched along the river, and gates were installed. Deputies systematically traversed the river's banks, while horses and all-terrain vehicles were utilized to cover the surrounding area. To this day, Brandon's whereabouts remain unknown. Did he accidentally slip and fall into the Yellow Medicine River? Or does his disappearance have ties to foul play? Brandon Swanson's family still leaves their porch light on every night in the hope that he will return. With so many unanswered questions, what do you think happened to Brandon on that fateful night? Margaret Ellen Fox, born February 4, 1960, disappeared on the 24th of June, 1974 at the age of 14 near Burlington, New Jersey. On June 18th, 2 cousins posted an ad in a local paper advertising their babysitting services. Both of their home telephone numbers were included in the ad. The next day, a man calling himself John Marshall called Margaret's cousin Lynn Park's home, claiming he required a babysitter for his 5-year-old son. Lynn's parents did not allow her to take the offer. considering the job too far from their home. After Lynn turned down the job, John Marshall called Margaret's home number, offering her the job opportunity, which she gladly accepted. Margaret was initially supposed to start the babysitting job in just a few days, but at the last moment, John contacted her again, asking her to postpone, and they rescheduled to meet on June 24, 1974. On the morning of June 24th, Margaret made her way to the bus stop and boarded a bus bound for Mount Holly, the area the man claimed to live in. Margaret's brother accompanied her to the bus stop and watched her leave. John told her which stop to take and then to make her way to the High and Mill Street corner, where his wife would be waiting for her in a red Volkswagen car. Margaret was instructed by her parents to call home once she had made it to the Marshall's house, but that call was never made. Her parents thought perhaps she had forgotten to make contact, but when she didn't return by 2:30, the time she was due back, her mother started to get very worried. At this point, she decided to call the number perceived to be John Marshall's, but on her second try, she was told by the person on the other end that she had been calling a payphone located outside of a supermarket. Margaret's parents then began to panic. Her father drove to the Mount Holly area to search for her, and her mother tried calling households with the name Marshall in that area. When their efforts to find Margaret failed, they eventually called the police. The police began their investigation by questioning locals around the area where Margaret was due to get off the bus that day. Numerous people stated that they did, in fact, see a young girl matching Margaret's description disembark the bus around that time. 4 days later, on June 28th, a phone call was made to Margaret's home by a man who wouldn't give his name but is believed to be John Marshall, demanding a ransom payment of $10,000. He also said the phrase, "$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the buttered topping." The FBI has released actual audio of this phone call, which I will now play.
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the buttered topping.
Who is it?
The next day, Margaret's parents received a letter in the mail that made the same statement. A few days later, another letter arrived telling Margaret's parents to put the money in a blue box, the same as Margaret's blouse. It went on to inform her parents that Margaret was unharmed and to wait for further instructions, but no such instructions ever came. The FBI couldn't determine if the ransoms were genuine or pranks. The investigation included fingerprint analysis, interviews with potential suspects, and polygraph tests, though no conclusive evidence emerged. Despite numerous leads, tips, and persons of interest, the case gradually dwindled, and by the late 1970s, leads had dried up. Authorities continue to test unidentified remains against Margaret's DNA, but no matches have been found, leaving the mystery unresolved. Other parents reported instances where men attempted to entice their daughters through deceptive job offers. In 1976, a suspect in her disappearance confessed to being involved, but it was later revealed to be untrue. John Marshall, the person connected to the case, has remained unidentified. If you possess any information regarding the 2 disappearances mentioned, I will provide links in the description to direct you to the contact details of the appropriate authorities. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.